Hey everybody, this is Brian here from quantlabs.net. We got Nan from Infragistics here, ready to go. You got the controller screen, right, Nan?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I only see a white screen, so you'll have to probably enable your end. There you go. Okay, so this is Anand from Infragistics doing a demo on the amazing churning library that I've seen for .NET and web development. Take it away, Anand.
Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot. First of all, I'd like to thank Brian for giving us this opportunity to connect with all of you. Got some exciting material to demo, and I'm really looking forward to getting into the crux of things. So my name is Anand Raja, and I'm the Director of Pre-Sales for the Developer Tools Division of Infragistics. Let's quickly take a look at the agenda. I'm going to start by giving you a background of Infragistics. I always like to do that before I jump into the tools, so you know who you're speaking to and who your tools are coming from. Next, I'll give you an overview of our developer tools offering. So what I'm going to do, even though we're going to focus on the financial space, I'm going to start out with just a broad brush of all of our offerings, because even if you're making a financial specific application, I think you're still going to benefit from a lot of the other adjunct tools that we have. And then finally, we'll go through the controls for the financial space. I'll do an overview, followed by a desktop demo, and then if we have time, I'll also do a demo on the iOS platform on an iPad. So I hope to spend the most time on the financial space. So just bear with me for a couple minutes as we start with the introduction. So Infragistics has been around for about 25 years. We just celebrated our anniversary. We're a private company who specializes in developer tools. When we say developer tools, we're primarily speaking about controls. And when we talk about controls, we primarily cover data visualization. That's where we add the most value to your projects and applications. We're based in Cranberry, New Jersey, but we've got, I see a message that someone lost voice.
I can hear you, no problem.
Okay, perfect. But we have offices around the globe, from the UK, Japan, Bangalore in India, Bulgaria, Uruguay, and various other satellites. So now let's talk about our developer tools. So our motto is that we provide developers everything they need to build stunning apps. So that includes controls for the mobile, desktop, web, as well as design tools. So our package, which is called Ultimate, includes the best of breed of the controls and design tools that I'm about to go over in detail. A couple of highlights here. It's because our firm concentrates on enterprise professional apps. What you're going to see is a lot of controls that are really focused for the enterprise, or focused for creators or business users. And so you're going to see that we provide a lot of controls that give you the paradigm that these end users are used to. For instance, the Office paradigm. So if you look at the ribbon for Office, everyone's very familiar. Everyone's familiar with how to use Excel. So we want to provide you those same tools so you can go ahead and build applications that have a low learning curve and that your end users are excited to use, they feel comfortable with, and at the end of the day, hopefully it makes you more successful. So what do we mean by help developers build stunning applications? Well, we have a comprehensive toolkit called Ultimate, but it starts out with Indigo Studio, which is a really innovative prototyping and design tool. So unlike other design tools, Indigo allows you to rapidly prototype an application without writing a single line of code, and it allows you to create a dynamic prototype. So this is very different than using PowerPoint or some other visual type of of prompts to get your point across. Quick use case is you're building an app, let's say for a group of traders, they have a very specific way that they operate. And before you get into coding, you really want to mock something up and hand it over to that group, your stakeholders or end users, so they can give you real-time feedback and you can make adjustments, any corrections before you actually get into the coding. So Indigo Studio makes that very easy to do. And as you're working in Indigo Studio, you can build your own library of reusable parts. So let's say you have a standard menu that all your traders are going to use, or you're going to use for all your trading apps. You can save that in your own private library, and every time you do a prototype, you can just leverage all of your existing widgets that you've already created. And to end with Indigo, I just want to mention that, again, the biggest value add that you get with Indigo is once you've created that prototype, you can share it with a click of a button and basically pass along a link to your end users. As long as they have access to a browser, they can not only view your prototype, but they can interact with it. So they can actually click buttons, navigate, they can look at data visualizations, change them, and they can give you feedback right in the app itself. So right in your prototype, they can give you can provide them notes, provide them directions of where to click if you want, and you get that rapid feedback, so you can bake that into your next prototype and quickly iterate until you get to a successful prototype. Now we're going to talk about some of the tools that we offer in WPF. So again, as I go through this, keep in mind that we strive for feature parity across all platforms. So that means you're going to get the same tools on Windows Forms as you do on WPF, right? And you're going to get the same controls as long as it makes sense in a web app. So that's what we strive for. So keep in mind that as I show you some of these tools in WPF, most of the tools and features are offered across all platforms that we cover. So here we're giving you a quick visual of some of our Office-inspired controls. So here you're looking at a ribbon on the top. So this is something that you can easily add to your app to make navigation very easy. And of course, it's completely customizable, themable. So if you look at the visualization on the top, you can see home, resize new demo. Just picture that in your own context. And what you get out of that is something that fits your application, but again, it's something that your end users are comfortable with working. So it's a paradigm that they're very familiar with. There's a save as. If you look at the visual slightly below that, you'll see another very familiar Office-inspired theme. And when we get to the demo, at the end, once I finish all of the financial specific controls, if we have time, I'm going to give you a demo of some apps that we've built using these controls. And it's very difficult to tell the difference between those apps and a Microsoft Office app. Styling and stylability. So of course, we know styling and styling is very important to you because it's important to your end users. We also understand that the paradigm has changed. Gone are the days where you could provide your end users with a battleship gray type of screen. Those days are gone. Folks have mobile devices now, and they're used to these very stunning and interactive apps. And when it comes to business, they expect the same. So we provide you all the tools to style and create really rich interactions, at the drop of a hat. I'm going to cover a few controls to Windows Forms. Again, I'm just giving you the broad brush. We'll get into the financial controls really quickly. So just like with WPF in WinForms, we give you controls such as Office-inspired controls, as well as grid, the ability to export to Excel, Office ribbons, etc. This is the visual of our pivot grid. It's very popular in our business applications. It basically gives you the ability to provide your end users with a way to slice and dice the data so they can crunch the numbers as it makes sense to them. And alleviate you from the task of creating multiple reports for different scenarios. Again, going back to our developer productivity theme, we provide you with one quick starter kit. So if you want to quickly create an app or get started and you don't quite know where to start, you can use these starter kits to start out with a template and then just copy and paste your own information in and swap out your visuals. Web apps. So again, as you know, we cover desktop, all the desktop Microsoft technologies from WinForms, WPF. We also cover the web platforms, ASP.NET, including MVC, and also pure HTML5 and jQuery. So regardless if you're Microsoft-centric or if you're just a pure web developer, we have you covered. What's really nice about our web productivity tools is we have CSS mechanisms that are built in, so you can leverage those to make your app look native. So just imagine you have one app, and if your users are on an Android device, all the buttons are going to be themed automatically to look like native Android buttons. And if they happen to be using an iOS device, you're going to get the same look and feel as you would expect on an iOS device. And again, that's without you doing any coding. So we want to handle all of those features for you so you can really work on, on your IT, on your business matter at hand, what you specialize. When it comes to native apps, again, we have you covered on just about every popular platform. Whether it's Android, iOS, or even Windows Phone, we have very rich controls, and we almost have achieved feature parity. Right now, our our iOS control set is the richest, and very soon the Android will catch up and we'll have all the same features available on Android. One point before I move on is Dameron Forms. If any of you have started developing Dameron Forms, we're a partner with Dameron Forms, and we've got wonderful business controls that just work right out of the box. So if you're not familiar with Dameron and you have to target multiple operating systems in a native manner, I highly suggest that you check out Dameron, and especially Dameron Forms, because it allows you to really have one code base or one project and compile those into native apps to target various mobile devices. This is just a quick overview of our iOS toolkit. And finally, financial controls. So in this section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of the different financial controls, such as charting, that we offer. I'll show you the different types, how you can leverage our financial indicators, our transitions, and then we'll jump right into a demo. We'll start with WPF, and if we have time, we'll end on iPad and iOS. So you're looking at a sample chart that shows one of our indicators. So this is the average true rate indicator. Right now we support just over 30 indicators. So if there's a particular indicator that you're looking for, you need for your application, the chances are we have you covered. Trend line. This screenshot here shows you various trend lines that we support out of the box. So basically, all you need to do is point the chart to your data, and we'll handle the rendering. We'll handle rendering, we'll handle creating trend lines for you, transitions, etc. This shows our range selector. And again, I'm going to show you all of these live in the demo, which is a quick overview. So if you look at the top, you'll see the actual data chart. And at the bottom, you have a selector, a range selector, which is our zooming control that allows your end user to pinch and zoom, or to use the mouse to basically move the slider to an area that they want to concentrate in, and you'll zoom automatically to that area. If they're using a touch device, it's supported for pinch and zoom as well. This is a static image of our motion framework. To me, this is our most exciting visualization that we offer. I'm going to give you a brief overview, but we're going to spend more time in it in the live demo. What this allows you to do is take data that follows the course of time. For instance, let's say you're looking at a stock such as Ford Motor Company, and you want to look at the trend. What happens over the course of time? Let's say 10 to 15 years. Just imagine if you really want to see all of that data and observe the trend, and especially if you want to compare it to another stock, it's a little bit difficult to do it statically like this. So what this control does is it actually brings the data to life. Once you point it to your data, it'll animate your data and it'll go through year by year, month by month, and then you can watch the trend yourself. So we'll look at that more as we go to the live demo. This right here is an example of our category series. We cover over 50 series, and we'll go over those more in the demo. This is an example of our polar series. A lot of our customers in the research space use this. In our bubble series, really popular with stat apps. And finally, we come down to a fully baked app. So at the end of the day, all the tools that I'm showing you really come down to one thing. They allow you to create a rich app for your end users with an app that's stunning, an app that provides your users with the ultimate user experience. And that's what we do with the company. We're really a user experience company, and you'll see that in everything we do. So without further ado, let's jump right into the demo. We're going to start out in WTF. And what I'm going to do first is show you the app, and then we'll actually dissect it and look at the pieces and the various options you have. First of all, let's start with this app. So this app was created. So this app is created was created using our WTF tool. So that means the chart, the grid control, tree map, which you're not seeing here, the slider, and the zoom bar. Let me walk you through the app, show you what it does, and then we'll go into the actual controls themselves. So what you can do here is add various stocks, and you can do that by typing them into the box on the right. So you see I'm going to start typing, and I should see my, it looks like I lost my mouse. I'm going to start typing here, and you can see that various stocks come up. I'll go ahead and add Ford Motor Company. So this gives you a nice way to compare the stock. Down over here on the bottom right, you see the various chart types. So I can switch dynamically to move to an area chart, back and forth, line chart. So again, it's up to you. You can give your end user the ability to configure this as much as you want, or you can exert control and just give them a few options. The whole point of this example is to show you that you do have all these options and you're able to change them dynamically. So if it's something that you want to give your end user the ability to do, you can do that. So let's go back to area. And next piece I want to show you is the range. So you'll notice as I move the range from 1 month to 3 months to 1 year, what's really subtle is the transition. But that really matters when it comes to user experience. A lot of apps or old school apps that have really been done in the old paradigm don't create nice transition. Instead, you'll immediately see the screen pop, but you can't really tell what's going on or what changed. So what you get with our chart is you get smooth transitions right out of the box, and you also have the ability to configure each animation and transition. And I'm going to show you that once we get into the deeper demo. Okay, so this is just kind of the app level demo. We'll go down into the weeds of the controls in a bit. Next thing that I want to cover is tooltips and selection. So what I want to do is move my mouse over a certain area. And I'm going to go ahead and remove 4 because I think more than 3 makes this a little busy. So what I can do here is move my mouse over, and I can clearly see the data points for each item in the series. I hope this is coming through the WebEx. Sometimes it can be choppy, but I assure you that if you're sitting right behind me, it will be very smooth.
No, it looks fine.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned, zooming. So imagine you just want to focus. You have all this data, but you just need to focus on a particular month. I can go down at the bottom, and I'm moving the slider here. I'm going to zoom in to the October range. So let me move this again. So now I'm just looking up until November 25th. So let's say this is about a month's worth of data. Now I'm using my mouse. I happen to be on a touch screen monitor, so now I'm going to use my hand right here and just use touch and just move this along. So you can see that it works both ways. I can also pinch and zoom. So I'm pinching and zooming right now and getting the same functionality. And again, along with honing in on the range, you can see that every time I switch to the next position, you'll have a nice smooth animation. Last piece here I'm going to show you is another type of visualization, which is a heat map. And by the way, I'm going to give everyone access to this demo that they can install on their Windows machine, as well as any of the other pieces that I show you today. So don't worry if you miss something. So this is a heat map right here. And you can configure it. You can change the styling. Right here, it's showing you that the negative is going to be blue, and you'll have yellow towards the more positive side. You can change it from chain, PE, etc. On the right-hand side, you have our data grid. So with our data grid, we've made it very easy for folks to pin certain columns. That's often the case that you have maybe 30, 40, or 50 columns, and you need to compare information, but you lose columns on the scroll. This allows you, right here, our pinning feature allows you to have your end user pin particular columns. I just pinned the second column. So now as they scroll, they can actually view all this information, and that column doesn't disappear.
Nice.
So now what I want to do is dig a little bit deeper in the data chart to show you all the ways that you can configure it, show you basically how it works, how you actually hook it up to your data, and show you the different styling options. So let's take a look at that. So first of all, let's just talk about how this hooks up, how you get it to work, based on your data type. This example here shows you binding with various data types. And again, I'll give you this application, which is our samples browser, which you can install, play around with yourself. And what it basically does is it shows you, based on your particular data type, for instance, a collection, it'll show you how you wire up a XAML. It'll give you a code snippet if applicable. And it'll also show you the C# code behind here to get that to work. So you can basically just cut and paste and change your data loading to fit your own environment or your data source, and you're basically up and running. So we support just about any well-used data type. So collection data, this is enum data. I'm talking through list data, linked lists, etc. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're binding to live data. So I'm going to go ahead and start a data feed with a 10 millisecond interval, just so you can have an idea of what a live data feed looks like, what the transition looks like, etc. So again, this works off of the cast data, off of live data, etc. I'm going to skip over. I'm just going to hit the highlights here, but just keep in mind that whether you're using XML data, data from a data service, such as your WCF, we have examples for everything to get you up and running really quickly. So let's look at some of the financial specific items that you get, the financial features that you get. So over here you see our financial price series. It shows the candlestick mode of display. We also have the open, high-low. This is open, high-low, close. And again, you can switch. And this is something you can do programmatically, at design time, or you can expose this to your end users so they can pick and choose. I mentioned financial indicators before. Just to show you here, these are some of the indicators listed. We support over 30. I'm going to go ahead and just toggle through a few so you have an idea of how they're done. This is the average true range indicator. You'll see the type indicator right over here. And along with the type of financial indicator you want to use, you can also change the display mode. So I can display it in a column mode or a line display or an area mode. And again, the same data, we're just toggling a different feature or basically setting a different property programmatically. It's very easy to do. You get all this out of the box. On the bottom here, we have financial overlays. I'm going to go ahead and toggle through a few of these. Price channel overlay. And now let's take a look at our trend line series. So if you look at this box here that I'm working with on the right, it allows you to pick a trend. I'm going to toggle through a few of those. And again, just to show you that it's highly configurable, you can change the color of the trend. Let's do this. I'm going to keep the trend line orange. I'll leave it dashed. So you can see here, I have exponential average, exponential fit. You can follow along in the box on the right, just to see the various trend lines and how easy it is to use them. And again, keep in mind that if you want to quickly get up and running, you want to see how this is set. You have the snippet here at the top, you have the XAML, and again, you have the code behind. You can also download a fully functional app so you can step through it and play with it. Let's go to animation. Again, animations become more and more important in this day and age, and with the growth of your end users and their use of technology. It really makes all the difference when it comes to the user experience. I'm just going to go ahead and flip through a couple of these types so you can see the animations. And you have full control. This is all configurable. It's all it's programmatically adjustable. So here I can make the transition very long if I want. This is too long, so let me go shorter. You can change the transition speed, the mode. This is ease in. I'll change it to ease out. So again, animations are completely configurable. If you want to figure out how to use a particular animation, just simply look at the XAML and the code there. Next, we're going to cover editing and selection. For selection is always important. Most of the developers, when they're creating financial apps, one of the first things they ask us, they need some specialized highlighting. So I'm going to show you how our highlighting works. You can see here, as I move my mouse along a particular series, let me change this to a column here. You can see that it's really easy to create that highlighting transition. Go back to area here. Okay, so if someone's presenting this in a boardroom, they want to use your app a little bit more dynamically, very easy to set this up. And again, this type of user experience is this adding something like this is a very easy way for you to provide, a boosted user experience. Makes it much more dynamic. This shows how you would use a data point tracker. Again, this is a very popular question that folks ask us. It's often the case that they said, they need crosshair. As someone's moving their mouse, they need to see the exact data point. And this shows you on actually 2 series how you can use this feature to actually move across and pinpoint particular data values. And the last interaction, we've got so many different types of interactions, but the last that I'm going to show you is a hover interaction. What this allows me to do is hover over a certain area and show the rest of the group, basically, what I'm referring to. And again, you have complete control over styling of this. I'm not an artist here, but my colors will probably clash, but just to give you an idea. Opacity. Okay, and last but not least, performance. Most folks, when they get into charting and they actually hook up to their real data and they get out of the test data, they experience some sort of performance issue. And we pride ourselves on having the most performant dev tools on the commercial market. I'll give you one example. Well, as you know, we're in just about every Fortune 500 company that uses Microsoft products. And one way or the other, they use our controls. For a great deal of the financial companies that make trading applications are longtime customers. We had one very large financial app customer that came to us with an issue. What they were doing is they were using our control set, but they were using some in-home baked control sets and some other third-party control sets. And what happened is they had to plot 500,000 data points. And it was taking about 3 minutes for the plot. So every time they had to plot it, they had to switch to another data set. It would take 3 minutes to refresh. And they tried whatever they could do to optimize it. Back then, they finally came out to the conclusion that it's happening in the front end. So what we did is we just asked them to try our chart. And they were able to chart over 1 million data points in less than a second. So this right here shows you finding 500,000 data points, and it shows you right here how many milliseconds it completed in. So let's go ahead and move this up to 1 million. And I'm going to go ahead and hit find, and you can see that was about a half a second. So when you're working with large data sets, you could definitely rely on our charting controls. Take a look at some real-time data binding. I'm going to go ahead and start a live data feed. Just give you an idea of how it looks when you're actually updating in real time. Okay. So I'm going to end this particular part of the demo with probably my favorite piece of functionality that we have, and it's called a motion framework. So again, I spoke about this when I was showing the screenshot. Now we're going to look at it live. What this allows you to do is to take data that goes across a period of time and actually plot it out and animate it for your end user so they can see it dynamically. They can watch that trend. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to hit play here, and then you're going to see data. The data points from August 27th, 2014, all the way to present. So I'm going to hit play.
Whoa.
And imagine. So we take your data and we'll just bring it to life. It's a lot easier to spot trends, as they're being plotted according to the time. And this works with all 50 of our charting types. Again, if I get another, we have time after the desktop portion, I'll show you the same thing on iOS. Screen press. Just show you some different ways you can configure this. This is elastic in, kind of bouncing in place. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is switch to iOS and show you some of the tooling that we have there. But before I do that, I want to quickly show you what I was referring to when I was talking about the Office-inspired app. So I'm going to show you I'm going to give you a really quick demo of an application that we built using our Office-inspired tooling. So again, you can picture this in your own context. But I want everyone to take a close look at my Outlook and tell me if you see anything odd here. And if you see anything that looks a bit odd compared to your Outlook, assuming if you're using the latest version.
As for me, I don't use the latest version.
Okay, so this is a trick question. Actually, you're not even looking at Outlook. You're looking at a sample application that we created using our Office tooling. So you see we're using this Office-style ribbon.
Yeah.
We give you the backspace right here. We'll just hit exit. You fire that one back up. So imagine this in your own context. If you want to build, your own financial or trading application, and give folks all the bells and whistles, but at the same time, if you want to give them all the functionality wrapped up in an app that's very easy for them to navigate, easy for them to to be productive, and this is definitely something you should check out. Okay, so now what I want to do is move to the iOS version. I have a hard stop in about 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to do this quickly. You should be seeing my iPad screen. And let me bring up my desktop so it looks a little easier to see. Okay. So what I'm going to do is walk you through some of the highlights on iOS. So what you're looking at is an app that we created using our native iOS controls. And please bear with me, the transitions will be a little bit slow because I'm broadcasting my iPad to my PC and then it's being broadcast to the web app. So I'm going through a few pipes here. This is more or less the same application that I showed you on the Windows desktop. So I'm bringing this up here because I want to show you that you can provide your end users with the same experience. So if you want to create a Windows app, but some of your users are going to be using iOS as well as web, you can use our tools to provide that same experience across all the platforms. Just pausing through the chart types here. I'm going to show you some individual features. Let's go back to the motion framework. This is just another example. Right here, you're looking at data that we've collected for the temperature of 2009. in 2008. And I know it looks really choppy here. It actually looks choppy on my PC screen, but on my iPad it's very smooth. So what this allows you to do is show your end user a trend, a live trend as it happened in that, at that time. So if you look at the label on the top right, you can see we're iterating through the day, and for each day, we're smoothly making a transition from data point to data point. So you can visualize that difference. So you can imagine this with stock. I'm going to show you another example. So here's another example of the motion framework using a different chart type. So right here, we're going to show you how technology changed over the course of time. Blue is going to represent cell phones, orange computers, and yellow telephones. I hit play, and you can see in the different countries how things trend. Again, I'm pulling this up to demonstrate that our motion framework works with every single one of our chart types. I'm going to leave about 10 minutes for questions, so I'm going to quickly go over the iOS area. Then financial indicator. We have the same support in iOS. It gives you an idea of how it looks on the iPad. And again, because this is Meta, what we do is we've worked in all the types of features that your end users would be interested in on a touch device. So I'm just turning the circle back and forth with my fingers just to show you how easy it is to provide your end users with that type of functionality. Another important thing is tooltips. We had a lot of requests for tooltips. When people are looking at the financial information on their iPad, often you don't want to make it too busy and actually have markers for every data point, but you want to have your end users have the ability to actually select. So what I'm doing now is I'm tapping and holding, and I'm just dragging my finger across the different areas. And you can see it's very easy for you to provide your user with that data point by touch. Very smooth. Let me see how we're doing on time. So, I think we will go ahead and, I've got a couple other things to show, but it might take a little more time. What I'm going to do now is go to Q&A. So let's go ahead back to the deck. We'll do a quick wrap up, and then we'll do some Q&A. So again, just to wrap up, what our ultimate toolkit gives you is everything you need to build setting apps. That's everything from design to your native controls. Your platforms from WPF to HTML5. This is where to go if you want to download the free trial. We have a 30-day trial of Infragistics Ultimate, fully functional. And we also have a lot of items on our YouTube channel. If you want to see what's new, or if you just want to learn how to do something, we have videos that start from the high level, and we also have videos that show you the deep down coding from scratch. How to start a project in Visual Studio and get one of our controls up and running. So please check that out. And finally, Q&A.
All right. Who's
Go ahead, open it up.
Who's got questions? I got lots of questions. I want you guys to ask first. Don't be shy. Well, there's only 7 or 8 of us. Anybody got any questions at all? Come on, guys. I think there was a comment already about somebody said, yeah.
I think I saw. How does it compare to side charts? So I'm not familiar with that charting package, but if you'd like, you can email me, and what I can do is give you some information on how we stack up with that. In terms of performance. Thank you. That'll be a lot easier for us to look at. But the answer is I don't know. We have performance white papers that I can send along. What we generally do is we look at our the top 3 commercial competitors and we white out the names and we except for ours. So we give you that information as well as how to repro it yourself.
So a question about GPU native. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, let me see. I keep on seeing questions pop up, but I want to make sure I handle all of them.
I think last one, I think you covered pretty well all of them. Oh, yeah, you're right. You covered the side chart, performance you've already talked about. Yeah, you have another question about GPU native for charts.
Okay, yes, absolutely. And in fact, what we do is we utilize the best of breed in technology and architecture for all of our charting components. And that's for performance and user experience use. Yes, so the answer is absolutely yes. And so we also keep very current with the changing technology, changes in the Microsoft framework. We're a strong Microsoft Gold partner, so you can definitely count on us to make sure that we're utilizing all the latest and greatest technology, harnessing all the power.
Any other questions at all? Just type them up in the chat box. I got a couple of questions myself if anyone else doesn't have any.
Sure. And before Brian starts with his, I just want to remind everyone that you can always email me anytime if a question comes up. I'll be happy to answer your question and point you in the right direction.
That was pretty awesome. I mean, this to me is one of my favorite charting packages. Another question just came up.
Yes. Can you please speak about data structures for live market data? Can you be a bit?
He's got. Okay.
Sure. I want to load 5 gigabytes. So what we generally do when folks are looking at large data sets is we try to come up with the most lightweight form. We recommend the most lightweight form. For instance, if you're doing 5 gigs of data and you need to be very dynamic, very performant, what we do is we suggest that you not use XML, use something a little lightweight that doesn't come with all of the baggage of XML, all of the wrappers and elements. But we do have some samples that I can point you to some very specific large data sets. So please email me and offline I'll pass along that information along with the actual perf numbers.
The other question I was going to ask is something similar to that with the data sources. With that one financial app that you had where you just enter in the stock symbol,
yeah.
Where are you data sourcing that from? Because I understood it's from a Yahoo financial service, or you set it up as a Windows service?
Yeah, so this one right here, we have a couple flavors of it. The main flavor actually uses Yahoo in real time, but we also came up with another version so we could use after hours when the market's closed. And I believe that's what we're using, and that's an internal server. But to answer your question, and to make it a little bit more relevant to what you guys are doing, we basically support any mainstream data feed or stream. So if you're going with a REST service, we can support that. If you're going with JSON or straight XML, that's also supported. So regardless of the medium, we have you covered as long as it's it's a mainstream type.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Do you have any example of integration with a major broker?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you consider. And again, I don't personally specialize in the financial space. But what I can tell you is if you want to use PIMCO as an example, PIMCO has been a long-time customer of ours. I don't have any screenshots that I can share with you, but I don't think I have permission to make those public. But one thing I can tell you is, first of all, email me offline, and I'll send you whatever I'm allowed to send you. But if you ever watch CNBC and you see the leader of Timco, up there showing you charts in this financial app, those are our financial charts. And their entire application base on their platform is built using our WPF product. So I'm sure I'm allowed to talk about that because he shows that privately or publicly on CNBC.
Yeah, you got to remember, this is a purely charting package. It's nothing to do with the ability to feed data into it. I mean, you seem to be pretty flexible in your different data options, as you said, with XAML or whatever other technologies you use. So you're pretty flexible there. But how you push it to those connections is another story. That's more your responsibility in your own code, I would imagine. Anybody else?
Exactly.
Did anybody else have any questions at all? No problem, Jim.
I actually have to drop now for another demo.
No problem, man.
So I apologize for that, but please feel free to email me. I'm more than happy to respond to something or have a phone chat with you, put you in the right direction.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for showing up. That was really, really, really helpful for all of us.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for providing me.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for your time.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks. Anyways, have a good one, man. All right, guys. I guess we'll wrap it up for today. No problem, Jim. Thanks for everyone coming out. I'll post this up on YouTube, so if you need to watch it, just look out for the YouTube channel. Thanks everyone for coming out, and we'll talk to you soon.